do, y'all? It's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY, back with another one of Repent or Die podcast, episode 160. Want to give all praise and glory to the heavenly ones, for they are worthy to be praised. Last but not least, I want to give a shout out to all you guys for tuning in, supporting, subscribing, allowing me to hit that 100K mark. All of this would not be if it wasn't for you guys. So of course I gotta give you guys your flowers, because you guys allow me to do what I do best, and that is keep my foot on these heathens, these Hebrews, and the newly installed Heathenites next. Round of applause for you guys. Round of applause. Yeah, man. It's a beautiful Monday today. February 12th. That's my day. Shout out to the heavenly ones to allow me to be alive for another turn around the sun, right? We here, we live, we healthy, we well. This B-Day is more of a calm one. I wanted to take a trip out to the Holy Land, but obviously that is postponed because the plane tickets, they're trying to charge me damn near $7,000 per person. And I don't want to just go by myself. I want the family to experience that. But that's neither here nor there. That's conversations we will have on later times. But for episode 160, we're gonna touch in on a hefty subject, right? Yeah, I know it's gonna be a touchy one, but we gotta talk about it, right? Especially though that we are in so-called Black History Month. And that conversation is why isn't the transatlantic slave trade viewed as a worldwide genocide? This episode 160, by the way. Why isn't it viewed as a worldwide genocide? Why isn't it viewed as a war on humanity? Those are the questions. But before we dive into that, let me remind you guys of December conversation that took place. A beautiful lesson / conversation that happened on the 7th day, which is Saturday at 4 p.m. Beautiful. And for those that hasn't been tuning in, man, you guys are missing out on great information, mind openers, the whole shebang, eye openers, I should say, mind openers as well, but definitely eye openers where you really start seeing things for what they are. And we do this every 7th day at 4 p.m., sometimes maybe 5, depending on how much work is being put together, right? But before we dive in, I got to give you guys the hood temperature. The hood is still shady. The hood is still grimy. The hood still ain't got no sunshine where we from. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine where we from, 'cause where we from, homie, you can be gone anytime, 'cause these streets don't play. Yes, sir, these streets don't play at all. You understand? Then I'm gonna give you guys some hood news. So Chicago drill rapper THFTP was gunned down around 6:30. I think the situation happened on last week, Tuesday or Wednesday. Not too sure. But what I do know is this man was gunned down while walking with his wife and his 2 daughters. You understand? And not only was he gunned down walking with his wife and his 2 daughters, one of his daughters witnessed her father be executed. And the gunman was in proximity of this child and allowed the child to run away. So the child had to run around her dead father's body who's laying on the ground and run to her mother. So she witnessed her father be executed. This is what I talk about when I say ain't no sunshine where we from. And things is only going to get worse, right? Migrants is out here robbing, shooting innocent people here in New York. Things is only going to get worse. Car accidents taking place. 2 car accidents flipped over right here in Brooklyn. Things is only going to get worse. And until we start understanding who we are and why these things are occurring, which leads to today's broadcast, the Transatlantic Slave Trade, right? And these are the questions that we're gonna have to ask. The first question is, why isn't the transatlantic slave trade viewed as a worldwide genocide like the Holocaust? Why isn't it? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, why isn't it viewed as a war on humanity? That's question number 2. Question number 3 is, why aren't nobody given an apology for what they've done or their participation in the transatlantic slave trade? And the last question remains is slavery still going on till this very day? Is it? Is it not? So let's start off with this question. Why isn't the transatlantic viewed as a worldwide genocide? Why isn't it viewed as a worldwide genocide? Why, when we speak about transatlantic slave trade or just slavery in general as colored people, why is the individuals who fit the complexion of those that participated in this genocide is always telling the victims or the children of the victims who suffer from this transatlantic slave trade to get over it? And that was the thing of the past. But if this same child of the transatlantic slave trade was to mention Jewish Holocaust and say the same thing, well, why you guys don't get over the Jewish Holocaust? You're met with being anti-Semitic. So the question is, why isn't we? Where's the laws for us? Where's the title for that? Because anti-Semitic, I think, is more severe than being racist. I think when you say racist, it's been used so much, it's like a watered down saying, oh, you racist. It's to the point now, white people are calling black people racist. Listen, I don't know where that came from. I can't break that down, but I find it beyond absurd. But yet, when you mention the Holocaust, they got a specific title for you. And if that title is associated with your name, you could lose your job. You can be denied loans. You can financially be lynched for saying anything negative about Jewish people or their Holocaust. But why isn't black people receiving that same treatment? Knowing that the Holocaust victims does not even eclipse to the amount of death that colored people went through. And I want to read something for you guys. Yes, I want to read something for you guys. Why not? So this is in thebriannica.com. So I wanted to look up the transatlantic slave trade. It says, the transatlantic slave trade, segment of the global slave trade that transported between 10 million and 12 million enslaved Africans across the Atlantic Ocean to the Americas from the 16th to the 19th century. The Holocaust was, I believe, 4 years? 8 years max. We went centuries, people. Centuries. 16th to the 19th century. It says it was the stage of 3 stages of the so-called Transatlantic Trade, in which arms, textile, and wine were shipped from Europe to Africa, enslaved people from Africa to America, and sugar and coffee from America to Europe. And that's just and again, this is just the introduction. The introduction. Why is this not viewed as a worldwide genocide? Why isn't laws protect people and not only just protect the people, but literally incarcerate anybody that still does anything in this manner? The same way that if you was to find any country to arrest and put Jewish people in camps, it will be World War III, 4, 5, 6, 7. But again, why aren't why isn't the transatlantic slave trade viewed and held to that regard? So now the question that I ask is it because you guys are still trading slaves? Is it because you guys don't see the wrong in slavery, in the transatlantic slave trade? Could it be because you have a system and a religion that you guys put together that justify your transatlantic slave trade? And that's just and listen, people, that is just the transatlantic slave trade done by Europeans. We also got the Arabic slave trade that was done to us by Arab. But we're gonna save that for another time. Today, I want to touch on the transatlantic slave trade. Why? Because my family are victims of this transatlantic slave trade. A lot of black people in America, the Caribbean, are victims of this transatlantic slave trade. And what scares me the most is not only are you not even acknowledging the wrong behind the transatlantic slave trade, you also are denying us access back home to Africa. You're also denying our culture, understanding, and gaining back our culture. You prevent that from ever happening. So now I'm gonna ask again, why isn't the transatlantic slave trade held to high regards like the Jewish Holocaust? 1 million Jewish people was so-called in concentration camps, gassed, whatever you want to call it. 1 million compared to 10 million to 12 million. That's what they told you. From 16th century to the 19th century, it was approximately over 70 million Africans were killed, sold, destroyed. 70 million. And yet we get no acknowledgement behind it. We get no apologies. Why is that? Why is that, people? Why is that? Let's read some more about this. Why not? It says, by the 1480s, Portuguese ships were already transporting Africans for use as enslaved laborers on the sugar plantation and the Cape Verde and Madeira Islands in the eastern Atlantic. Spanish conquerors took enslaved Africans to the Caribbeans after 1502, but the Portuguese merchants continued to dominate the transatlantic slave trade for another century and a half, operating their base in the Congo/Angola areas along the west coast of Africa. The Dutch became the foremost traders of the enslaved people during the parts of the 1600s, and the following century English and French merchants controlled about half of the transatlantic trade, taking a large percentage of human cargo from the regions of West Africa between the Senegal and the Niger River. Okay? Now, again, these people obviously know what was done. Historically, it's known for what they've done. But yet, not one time have they acknowledged or said we were sorry or did anything to confiscate the lives that was destroyed, the homes that was burnt, the culture that was removed. Now, one time did these individuals take it upon themselves, listen to what I'm saying to you, took it upon themselves to say, yo, my bad. Let me compensate y'all for this hard doing. You know what these people said? They said, listen, you guys are free now. Are we really? But we're not gonna jump the gun. We're not gonna jump the gun. Let's continue. Let me finish reading. It says in 1713, an agreement between Spain and Britain granted the British a monopoly on the trade of enslaved people with the Spanish colonies. Under the Estado de Negro, Britain was entitled to supply those colonies with 4,800 enslaved Africans per year for 30 years. Let me read that again. 4,800 enslaved Africans per year for 30 years. Let's look up the math behind that. For 30 years. For 30 years, people. Yeah, we're gonna definitely look into the math behind that. 4,800 times 30. 144,000. That sounds like the scriptures to me. 144,000. Okay? 144,000. The contract for this supply was assigned to the South Sea Company, of which British Queen Anne held some 22.5% of stock. So now, as you can see, these people that had their hands in the transatlantic slave trade, also the Arabic slave trade, these are the same people who are the head of the UN powers, who are the head of global reform, global economics, protection against humanity. These are the people who sits in those positions, who have yet in 2024 apologized for the evil, compensate us for the evil. Now, you guys know how I feel about the reparations and why reparations doesn't happen. And like I try to tell my brothers, I know we deserve that. We need what's owed to us. We need to be compensated for the wrong. But what I'm saying is we're not holding our end of the bargain and representing those slaves, the 4,800 enslaved Africans per year, or the 10 to 12 million that they supposedly are telling us between the times of 16th to 19th century. We're not holding these people names, suffering, misery. Okay, we're not holding that alive by the way we are acting, the way we are dressing, the way we are talking, the way we giving ourselves up, not to just the enemy, but to the enemy system. We're not representing them to this highest order. We're not. But back to the people that participated in this foolishness. Why aren't you compensating? Why aren't you even putting it on notice that what took place in those times was so heinous and severe that something like that should never, and I mean never, be done again? Why isn't those conversations, those things being mentioned in your politics, in your world forums, when you stand before world leaders? Nobody. Why isn't the president of Russia speaking like that? Why isn't the prime minister of Britain, the prime minister of France, all these areas? Why nobody is talking about it? But yet, they make sure that they always, and I repeat, always acknowledge the wrong that happened to the Jewish powers or the Jewish people on the face of this earth. Huh? How is that not war against humanity? Is it because you don't consider us a human being? Oh, my bad. Here in America, you're only 3/4 of a man. You're not even a full man. When you know, their reasonings and excuse into why they doing the things that they doing, they said that we wasn't intelligent enough. They said that we couldn't think, we couldn't read, we didn't know how to be civil. No. We didn't know how to be evil. We didn't know how to be satanic. We didn't know how to follow Lucifer. We didn't want to give in to Lucifer. So you had to intervene and do what you do to have us in the state that we are in now. Where now, all of a sudden, we are able to govern, right? We're able to be left alone. But you know, you gotta keep the slave catchers around just in case a slave choose to have a mind of his own, choose to stand up against the atrocities and the evil that was done to a people that you can't find a single history of us doing that to you. Huh? You know why you can't call it a war against humanity? Because that means the light would have been shed on you. You know why you're not gonna apologize? Because you never see nothing wrong, ever. They don't see nothing wrong. Killing me a brother, man. They don't see nothing wrong. Terrorizing people's land. They don't see nothing wrong. Y'all don't see nothing wrong. In fact, not only do you not see nothing wrong, you look us in the face and say, I dare you to talk about it because I can show you that we went to slavery too. And like I said in my previous podcasts and numerous podcasts and social media, it is genetically impossible for Europeans to be in captivity. Genetically impossible. You guys can't take on that type of pressure. Can't. Because if you could, you guys would have been enslaving your own. You can't. Can't deal with the sun. Not only can you not deal with the sun, you cannot deal with so much pressure, right? Knowing that you gotta take care of your child, you gotta protect your wife, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. The whole shebang. It's just too much. It's just too much. So when I hear people say we was enslaved too, just know that these are the individuals that's a part of the lie, a part of the problem, taking full advantage of the black and brown genocide. You understand me? Oh yeah, listen, I'm gonna talk to you the way you need to be spoken to. Huh? Why aren't we giving an apology? Let's get into that. Just say you sorry. Stand on the podium, stand in the World Forum podium, stand in your Bilderberg meetings, your Rothschild meetings, stand and look at the camera. When you go in, when you having your political campaign, stand at the camera and say, I'm sorry for what my people have done to you. And not only are we sorry, because saying sorry is just not enough. Saying sorry does not fix and not heal the 400 years of suffering and trauma that still affect us to this very day. It does not heal. It will open the door and say he did apologize, but it doesn't heal. But at least you acknowledge it. And not only are you acknowledge it, you're gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna give you something good, man. We're gonna leave your land. We're gonna let you guys do what you do. Right? We're gonna allow the blacks and browns that's here in America, that's in the Caribbean, that's in these areas. If you guys wanna go back to Africa, you are more than likely. You are more than okay. Okay? You can go. You can leave. No strings attached. No requirements. We're not gonna hunt you down. We're not gonna do nothing. We're gonna help you go back. But the question is, will you guys do that? I mean, I know the answer, but this is for the listeners. Ask yourself, will they ever do that? Could they do that? I mean, we'll wait and see. We're waiting to see and try to find out. We'll wait. I mean, we waited this long. We waited 400 years. We waited 400 years for an apology. We waited 400 years for acknowledgement. Shout out to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is probably the only European that came out that I know of, and that's in his stature, that said, yeah, African Americans built America. Wow. That's a first. But can every single one of you guys do that? Huh, Britain? Huh, France? Huh, Spain? Portugal? Huh? Can you guys do that? Can you guys apologize for the evil that you have done to black and brown people? Can you Arabs? You got all that money building up beautiful cities in Dubai, police cars is Lamborghinis. How about you give some of that money to the brothers and sisters that's in Africa that you took advantage of? How about those that you brought into the Middle East that you still mistreating? Huh? How about those? Are you willing to do anything? Is any compensation gonna take place? Could it? Please? Let me know. And I'm not saying please, like, please give it to me. I'm saying please, just let me know. Let me know if anything is gonna come with the suffering that happens to black and brown people to the VI Transatlantic Slave Trade. Just let me know. I would love to know. Now, the question remains, is slavery gonna come to an end? Is slavery still going on to this very day? And I would like to answer that. And the answer is absolutely yes. Slavery still goes on in every aspect, physically, mentally, spiritually. We are, right now here in America, black and brown people are mentally enslaved. Mentally. because they put it in your mind that you are free, and you know that you're not free. I got the Black Law book. Don't you find it ironic that the name of the book is the Black Law book? See, the laws was always created to keep the black man in check. I don't care what they tell you. Oh, we put the laws together so the world could be civil. How can a world be civil when kidnap of people, robbery of a land, murder of innocent children took place, still taking place, and no acknowledgement behind it? How can this world be civil? How can this world be civil when you guys have conversations and talk about what you need to do to a land that was never yours? When you people sit down and have a conversation, what should we do to people that's not like you, that don't come from where you come from, don't got the same skin tone? All of that. This world would never be civil. I don't even think this world knows what civil is. When you hear civil rights for who? What is really civil rights? That's another conversation for another time. But what is civil rights? Because this whole world was put together of inhumane activities. Inhumane activities. Inhumane activities. Murder, kidnap, child trafficking, molestation. You name it, they claimed it. And these are the same people now are giving laws to people to tell people how to be civil. This is how you need to be. These are the same people are now telling you how to govern and raise your child. The same people that didn't oblige to any universal law. Nothing triggered in their mind and said, wait, hold on, son. We're not supposed to be taking no child. That's wrong. We're not supposed to kill nobody. That's wrong. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not only was they killing, but the people that was doing the killing, these people get praise and worship every year. This Leopold heathen got his own statue in Belgium. Christopher Columbus is celebrated. It's a national holiday. I don't know if they celebrate it all across the world, but here in America, it's a national holiday where stores is closed. And that's just to name a few. You got 4th of July. You got Black Friday. You got Thanksgiving. I mean, come on. The list goes on. Valentine's Day, people don't know. Valentine's Day is a worship. It was a time where blood was shed. Murder took place. Go look up the Valentine's Massacre so you can find the origin behind it. That's why they give you a heart, because they was ripping heart outs. I mean, come on, people. Everything, every holiday, religion, whatever you want to call it, every feast, all of these things, satanic, it's always tied to an evil ritual. But yet, they call us ignorant. But yet, they say that we are inhuman. But yet, listen, they will throw you in jail. They'll throw the book away if you was to kill an animal, whether it was from self-defense or whatever. You kill a dog, especially they dogs, they'll Mike Vick your ass. Okay? I'm starting to, I gotta ask the question, what kind of dogs was it? Was it a German Shepherd? It must have Jewish blood, because the way that they killed this man's career. I mean, come on, people. Took all that money away. Come on, people. Nike, everything. Come on, people. But yet, somebody like myself would talk about this. I will be deemed as a racist. I will be deemed as a bitter, angry nigger. That I should be happy that I'm able to be on a bus full of Europeans. That I'm able to go to school full of Europeans. That I'm able to go into a European store to eat seasonless chicken. Uncooked, unclean chicken. This is what they're gonna tell me. That all of us got the same equal opportunities. You gotta take full advantage of it. And we know that's a goddamn lie. We know that that's not true. We know damn well there is no opportunity for the black man unless the black man is willing to compromise himself. Or are you willing to cut off your family for this check? Are you willing to get on your knees for this check? Are you willing to bend over for this check? And I'm saying that with all disrespect, huh? You have to make those things make sense, people. So I'm just gonna leave it as that. I'm gonna leave that question for you guys. Yeah. Why isn't the transatlantic slave trade viewed as a worldwide genocide like the Holocaust? When will you guys apologize? When will you guys leave us alone? When will you guys, you got all the technology in the world. Just leave us alone. Where you guys dwell, make the best of it. Why is a gas line coming from Africa going into Morocco, from Nigeria going all the way to Morocco to go all the way to France so you niggas can get some gas? I mean, come on, stop. Why can't you find gas somewhere? Why can't you find gas from the Middle East? Why can't you find gas from Saudi Arabia? Those are your people. You guys sit down together every single day. Every world forum, you guys are having conversation. Why don't you guys say, yo, man, what's up, man? I ain't trying to deal with these Africans. You my family. You know, we've been breaking bread for years. Yo, what's up, man? Can I put a pipe through your hood so I can get a little bit of gas, some heat, something? And I'm sure they're gonna come into agreement. Why don't you do that? But we know that you won't, because you don't see nothing wrong with taking advantage of not only a land, but taking advantage of people. Taking advantage of people that when you look down history, ain't never done nothing to you. And if we did, it was never done in the regards into the degree of us being put in slavery. It's your brother man from the motherland. I came to you guys live. You know who I am. I am him, Mr. Keep My Foot. You hear me? My foot on you heathens, you he-gros in the newly installed Heathenites next. Are you dumb or are you dumb? Before I make the Father say what he say, make sure you subscribe and you support and you share this with your loved one, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. And since we on Black History Month, I'm gonna put nothing but Black history down the throats of you punks. And I'ma holler at y'all. Wait, let me let the Father say one time for the one time. And I'ma holler at y'all now.